Welcome, guys, again, everyone. And as usual, we are starting our meeting with the stars for the week. Who are stars for the week? Guys, we are a group and we had already 14 meetings. So we kind of know each other. And how I mentioned, we are not just listen to me. We are participating, and the next meeting will be discussion, and we all discussing, and we also have a WhatsApp group chat, and whatever we have questions, whatever we have topic, whatever we have concern or experience, or we have discussed something, we are discussing there. So we already like a very good team of friends. If you want, please send your phone number on the chat, and I will add you to WhatsApp group chat. It's not obligatory, it's by your decision and your wish. Can I ask Violeta, please, can you post my phone number that if somebody wants, they can send me a private message that I would add you to our WhatsApp group. And guys, our stars for today is Richard. Let's applaud him. And Richard came today with his mission statement. We guys all of us, we wrote mission statement. Mission statement was in our part number 1, private victory. However, we have, as usually, 2 more stars. It's Patrick and Jan. Guys, they are all the time our stars. They are participating on our message board, and they post wonderful questions, wonderful deep comments. Thank you so much. And this is Richard Wilmer. It's a mission statement. Please, guys, I want to stop for our dear newcomers and explain what is that. If you will be interested, in 3 months, I think we will finish, 2-3 months, we will finish this session, and we will start a new one. So if you would be interested, please join, because this is essential for the private victory, is essential for the public victory. Private victory, it's like a foundation of other interaction of public victory. So it's very important, but we have to move ahead. Richard, can I ask you, will you be able to read your mission statement to us?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
It's formatted a little differently on the screen than I had originally thought of it. The first bullet point is actually the statement itself, and the other bullet points underneath it are the answer to how to execute. And so the mission statement itself is, and by the way, I'm almost the last one to do this, and so it took quite a while. And so the thinking involved in coming up with this is something generally fairly personal, in which you dig deep and you try to find the things that drive you. I recommend it to everybody who hasn't done it, is to go about the process of creating something similar to this. Of course, it's tailored to each person according to their desires. So the very first bullet point is the actual statement. And so in the statement itself is the precious things in my life that will continue to have my undivided focus are God, family, and my time. God has allocated my time and provided me the gift of life, which I will use effectively to both serve him and provide well for and protect my family. So how to go about doing this? I have a naturally methodical approach to solving all problems and challenges, and the solutions are guided by integrity and humbleness. I will not presume to know it all, but will instead endeavor to understand from the opposite point of view. Irrational emotions are plentiful and are all mentally corrosive. They have no place in my life. Learning from my mistakes and never repeating them leads to less mistakes and more success. Honesty brings me peace, and I need peace to think clearly. Justice must be left to God. And this is a different bullet point. Creativity is a driving force that I can use for the benefit of my family and others. I need God, and I need his words of influence in my life daily. Without planning, I cannot dream. Without patience, I cannot achieve. I must be the best example of myself that I can be, one that others might choose to follow. When I was young, I traded time for material things. Now I must trade material things for time, and time to fulfill my mission on earth.
I would like to start with you guys. Our team, what would be with your peer review? Brian, please. If you would turn
Yeah.
on microphone.
I'm unmuted now. Thank you for pointing it out. I think this is a wonderful statement, Richard. I think it's there's so many things in here. I think you know, I don't know you that well, of course, but from my impression is I can see that you're really following a lot of the points that you make. Sorry, I don't have I should have a criticism or something offhand, but I think it's very impressive. I think it's very well done. It seems to me that it's very honest.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody else?
Yes, I'd like to say something.
Yes, please.
So I think that when we age, we gain knowledge and wisdom. And at different times of our life, we think certain things are important. And as we grow older, other things become clearer, and we realize that time is really what's most important. So when you're young, you know, you think dating is important, you think having a lot of money is important, you think having a great car is important, then you want to have the best looking house in the neighborhood, that's very important. You want to have 3-car garage, a brand new car, maybe a motorcycle, you know, and you think this is important. If you're a woman, you want to have a lot of diamonds and the best looking Louis Vuitton bag that just came out. And these are important. But when you become, right? But when you get into your 50s, then that is a turning point in life. And then you realize, okay, that things are changing. Sometimes you realize some of the people are married, and then they recheck their marriage life. They say, am I happy being married? Is my spouse make me happy? What is happiness? Do I want to stay in this relationship? My children are grown. Do we want the same things? And you change that. Then you go to your job. Do I like my job? Is my boss a jerk? Does he appreciate me? Does he knows how much I put into towards the company, toward my job, how much I do? I stay overtime. Is it important to me to work 20 hours a day? Maybe I only want to work 8 hours a day and actually go on vacation every once in a while. then you realize, oh, well, let's go on vacation. Let's go to a place we've never been before. So you go to Italy, let's say, and you say, oh my God, the world is so gorgeous. I've never seen that. And before you know it, you go to Italy, you go to Spain, you go to Greece, you even go to China, and you're like, oh my God, like it really never hit you that you want to travel. But your mindset is changed because you're coming to the realization that you are, I don't want to say in the third phase of your life, but you are in your third phase of your life. So a lot of things have changing. You look differently. You know, you look in the mirror and you say, holy cannoli, I don't even recognize myself sometimes. You know, all these lines on my face, how did they come about? What happened to my hair, you know? And so all your thinking is really changing. And so different things become more important. So you're realizing that having a big house is not important anymore. Most people actually sell their big homes and they go to smaller homes. And clothes, you realize are not that important. As long as you have something to wear that's clean and warm, it's okay. So your mind is shifting and you realize that the most important thing is time, because you're going to be running out of time at some point. And you don't know when you're going to be running out of time because you're not given that opportunity to know that you have 10 years to live, 20 years to live, or 15 years to live. So you're trying to change things to choose quality in your life and make things good memories that really counts. You're not hoarding any more items, but you're starting to hoard memories and be with people that you love and do things that you love and eat food that you love and enjoy time.
Thank you, Iris. Thank you, guys. You did a very thorough editing, and we appreciate it. Just a little bit thing I want to say. The time when I'm giving the presentation is very precious because the material is huge and we need to go in time. So you just didn't know, and your comment again is beautiful. However, on this meeting, when I'm presenting, our comments are very short and straight to the point. And the next meeting when we will meet and when we will talk, all of us, then we can have more time for more thorough discussion and more free time, okay? Thank you so much again. Patrick, please.
Yeah, I have a question for Richard. So bullet point says irrational emotions are plentiful and are all mentally corrosive. They're no place in my life. I agree, right? So how do you defend against that? I mean, based on your experience, obviously we all do it differently. I mean, I know I do it differently. Well, let me preface that. I think I do it differently. So I would love to hear, how you execute these 7 habits to basically reduce that or manage that.
Well, emotions, the irrational ones, because there are plenty. Some of them are very useful. But for example, fear is an emotion that's irrational. It certainly takes some strength to overcome fears. And it's something that I still struggle with and continue to fight the other irrational emotions, but it's one of my goals, one of the things that I have to achieve, because I know that irrational fears have no place in my life. And if I state it that way, then they won't be part of my life. So I'm stating it clearly that that's something that I need to make sure doesn't take up any of my time.
Okay. Thank you. Violeta?
I think it's a great mission statement. It has a lot of great points.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Well, guys, let's round it up on it, and I would love to tell my opinion. I think it's a great mission statement. I notice, of course, a couple of things which I would want to discuss, but we discussed it already. And if Richard still, after discussing, decided to put them on his mission statement, it means it's his opinion. And we are here not to have the same one mission statement, right? We are, guys, a unity of individuals. We are not oneness. And because if he decided to put those things, it means he decided. It means that is important to him. It means who he is. And I again can say only, I think it's a wonderful statement. What also I want to say to all of you, great job, Richard, absolutely great job. What I want to tell to all of you, I'm extremely proud of you for all mission statements. All our mission statements could be put in the Mr. Covey book. So great they are, so thoughtful they are. Violetta, your mission statement was so feminine and so different from the masculine guy's statement. So let's see, next meeting, I'll come with my mission statement. And I think we will round up the mission statements and we will just smoothly will move to habits. Well, guys, now sit comfortably, relax, and I'll tell you a little story from Mr. Covey book. So what he was telling. So sit comfortable and just listen a short story. So one time Mr. Covey was working with the issue of the president of a big company. And that the president was very concerned about lack of cooperation among his people. Our basic problem, Stephen, is that they are selfish, he said. They just don't want to cooperate. Mr. Covey said, really? And the president said, go and check. So Mr. Covey went to check. And really, he found that there was a real selfishness, an unwillingness to cooperate, a resistance to authority, and defensive communication. And he asked a very interesting question. What is the reward for not cooperating? I never asked this question. We always ask, what is the reward for cooperating, right? We never ask this question. What do you think what it might be? Just keep it in mind and let Mr. Covey will answer by this question by himself, because we need to catch up a little bit of time. There is no reward for not cooperating, the president assured him. Let's assume that this is that president's office. And behind the curtain on one wall of this man's office was a chart. So can you imagine, guys, sorry, that here is a curtain. I didn't create a curtain for you. I guess you can imagine that. And so it was a poster behind the curtain, a beautiful travel poster of a idyllic picture of a beautiful sunset, a romantic couple sitting on the beach. Once a week, the president would bring his people, all his people, to this office and talk. Let's guys work together. We can make all money we can do. This would, then after he would pull the curtain and show them the chart. Now, which of you is going to win the trip to Bermuda? He wanted cooperation. He wanted his people to work together, to share ideas, but he was setting them up for competition with each other. One manager's success meant failure for the other managers. Now we can see the meaning behind Mr. Covey's question. What is the reward for not cooperation? Of course, trip to Bermuda. The president was trying to get the fruits of cooperation from the paradigm of competition. And when it didn't work, he wanted a technique, a program, a quick fix antidote to make his people cooperate. But you cannot change the fruit without changing the root. We've heard already that proverb, right? Win-win. Mr. Covey is saying this is not a technique. It's a total philosophy of human interaction. So guys, before in all our 3 habits, Mr. Covey was giving us techniques, methods. We had plenty of them. And now he is telling already that this is already a philosophy. So we are going on the higher level. However, he said that there are 6 paradigms of interaction. So what is paradigm? We talk already about paradigm in our private victory, right? Who remembers what is that fancy word paradigm?
It's a model. Isn't it a model how we do things?
Okay. Anybody else?
Is a way to see the world.
Beautiful, Edin Yan. Yes, you're Shannon Yan, you're pretty right. So paradigm is how Mr. Covey was saying, it's a system of your values, of your vision, your representation. Basically, it's your pattern here. This is your pattern, your mental image you have in your mind of the way things are going out there. So if next to me will sit a different girl, and she will see the world not completely different, but very different. She will hear very different what I'm saying. She will understand something different. So this is how everything is going from our mental image. So let's see what kind of paradigm Mr. Covey offers to us. First, win-win paradigm, win-lose paradigm, lose-win paradigm, lose-lose paradigm, win, and win-win or no deal. And we will start to discuss each of one in the sequence. Win-win is a mutual benefit, right? It's agreement or solutions. It's mutual satisfaction. With a win-win solution, all parties feel good about the decision and feel committed to the action plan. Win-win is a cooperation, not competition. But not that everything is that easy, right? Most people tend to think in terms of differences, strong and weak, smart or not smart, win or lose. But that kind of thinking is fundamentally flawed. It's based on power, position, rather than on principle. Win-win is based on the paradigm that there is a plenty for everybody, that one's person's success is not achieved at the expense of or exclusion of success of others. Win-win is a belief in the third alternative. It's not your way, it's not my way, it's a better way, a higher way. So let's look at the win-lose. It's basically saying, if I win, you lose. In the leadership style, win-lose is an authoritarian approach. I get my way, you don't get yours. It can even start from childhood. That child is just stronger than a girl, right? And he's using his power. Also, the people use credentials, possession, power, how I said, personality to get their way. Most people have been deeply scripted in the win-lose mentality since birth. First, it started in the family when one child is compared with another. He was taught that value does not lie inside of them. It lies outside. It is in comparison with somebody else. And what happened to a young mind and heart, highly vulnerable, highly dependent? The child is molded and shaped and programmed in the win-lose mentality. If I'm better than my sister, my parents will love me more. Another powerful scripting agency is a peer group. A child first, one accepting from his parents, and then from his peers, friend. And we know how cruel peers sometimes can be. I hope we are not that, because we are also doing a peer review all the time. They often accept or reject totally on the basis of conformity to their expectations and norm. The academic world reinforces win-lose scripting, win-lose. When you got an A, because somebody else got a C, it's comparing. No recognition is given to intrinsic value. Everyone is extrinsically defined. And what is intrinsic value?
On the inside, intrinsic
Right.
value, yeah.
Right. Intrinsic value is the actual value of an asset, which is overly influenced by market condition. It's just pure intrinsic. But how Sean noticed correct right away, we are talking about intrinsic value of a person. So, and you answered already. And let's see what is smart people are talking. So a person carries a certain level of intrinsic value depending on the different roles and responsibilities. For example, in family, it's a unit of a man and a woman. Can we say that if a woman is weaker, that she doesn't have intrinsic value? Not of course. She has her value, her intrinsic value, while man is adding a different intrinsic value to the family. So it's also can be any specific talents, any skills, people of good character, honest person. It's still intrinsic value of a human, positive attitude, morality, learning ability, the level of achievements a person has attained in his life, expertise in a certain field. So when we comparing people to each other, this is completely wrong, because one can have one intrinsic value and the other have completely different intrinsic value. We cannot compare them how we did it before. So let's continue with some example about it. So this is PTA meeting in school. Oh, how nice to see you here on PTA meeting. You ought to be very proud of your daughter, Caroline. She's in upper 10%. She makes me feel very good. But your son, Johnny, is in trouble. He's in the lower quartile. Really? Oh, that's terrible. What can we do about it? This is comparison. But guys, your child can have a special talent inside of him. And he was comparing it, for example, on the base of math, right? But he can be an artist, even can be a famous or even not famous, but artist, right? And he cannot have a math talent, but we scripted in it. So what a wise parent would react on it, and how he would, what he would tell to a child. Go to the world, my son, and be ready that you will meet a lot of problems on your way. But remember that you're strong and wonderful. Don't afraid of anything. The world is not your enemy. The world is also beautiful. We don't need to scare our children that you can meet in a world a lot of bad people. They will accept, they will script it that the world is enemy, the world is bad. Don't allow anything or anybody to put you down. So this, we are scripting our child to be strong. You can reach whatever you want, but you have to put effort. Nothing in this world is for free. Be there, create, enjoy. You deserve the best. Why you deserve the best? You deserve the best not because you are my son or you are my daughter and I love you. The world doesn't buy that. You have to put effort, and effort not only in something like like in this good grades. It's not enough to be happy. It's not enough to reach something in our life. Why we are here? Because we want to be better, not in math and different subjects, right? We got it enough. We want to be better as a human, so we need to tell to our children as well. Another powerful programming agent is athletics. In their high school or college years, often teens develop the basic paradigm from athletic games where some win and some lose. Can we do this paradigm in our life and teach our children that they would use these skills in their life, in their personal lives? Personally, I don't think so, because they will still continue. I need to lose. If I win, I need to win. If I win, you need to lose. Another agent is law. We live in a litigation society. The first thing many people think about when they get into troubles is suing someone, taking them to court, winning at someone else's expense. But defensive minds are neither creative nor cooperative. Certainly, guys, we don't need to go to extreme. We need law, or else society will deteriorate. It provides survival, but it doesn't create synergy. The recent trend of encouraging lawyers in law schools to focus on peaceful negotiation, the techniques of win-win concept. And there is a place for win-lose thinking in truly competitive and low-trust situation. I just remind that we are on the second paradigm, win-lose. There is a place for win-lose paradigm, but it's usually low-trust situation. And most of life is not a competition. This is important, that most in life is not a competition. We don't need to compete with our spouses, with our children, co-workers, neighbors, and our friends. Who is winning in your marriage? It's a ridiculous question. Most of life is an interdependent, not independent reality. Guys, do you remember how we were happy when we figure out that we are not independent level? Yes, we are independent. I'm independent, do you remember? I'm independent, I'm great. I'm responsible for my action. And now Mr. Covey said that it's not bad, but it's not the top, because our life is interdependent. Most results you want depend on cooperation between you and others. So if you are truly and the only independent, you're in trouble as well. And the win-lose mentality is dysfunctional to that cooperation. Mr. Covey didn't say it's okay, be independent. He said win-lose mentality, and it's dysfunctional. Next paradigm, lose-win. Some people are programmed the other way, lose-win. And before we were discussing win-lose, right? I lose, you win. Go ahead, have your way with me. I'm a peacemaker. I'll do anything to keep peace. What do you think about it? Sometimes people think that being humble or spiritual, this is their way. But we figure out that no, being humble, it's actually having a lot of knowledge and wisdom to be humble, and spiritual as well. Let's move ahead. So lose-win is worse than win-lose, because it has no standards, no demands, no expectations, no vision. And I can tell you in psychology, what is the lowest level of emotion being? Low emotional state of a person. The lowest, that's depression, guys. You will be surprised if, for example, maybe you know, but who, for example, do not know that anger is higher than depressed. So literally, if you are angry, it's much better. So angry, it's win-lose. And the depressed is lose-win. There is almost nothing below. So if you found yourself that you are no, depressed, no, it's we actually overuse the word depressed, because depression should be diagnosed by a doctor, and you should be depressed in a 6-month period. You need to stop eating, stop talking, stop going outside. This is, you will, hope not you, a person can be diagnosed to be depressed. Others, it's we are sad, we are upset, but if you found yourself that you don't want to talk, that you don't want to do anything, and if you are completely out of can't do something with you, you need to know that you are in a worse position than anger. You are strong, and because I can share it with you, so you can take yourself and bring to the next level. Be angry at that situation, and see more clearly. Right now, if you're angry, you have demands, right? You have expectations, you have your vision. And when you are lower than that, you have no demands, no expectations, and no vision. Lose-win people are usually quick to please. It's a different thing. No, it's actually, I was talking about win-lose. Yes, lose-win people are usually quick to please or please. They look for popularity or acceptance. They have little courage to express their own feelings and convictions, and they're easily intimidated by the ego or strengths of others. And negotiation, lose-win is seen as capitulation or giving up. In leadership style, it's permissiveness or indulgence. Lose-win means being a nice guy, and win-lose people love lose-win people because they can feed on them. They love their weaknesses. They take advantage of them. And guys, here is a big problem, is that lose-win people bury a lot of feelings, and unexpressed feelings never die, never die. They are buried alive and come forth later in ugly ways. Psychosomatic illnesses, particularly of the respiratory, nervous, circulatory system, often are the reincarnation of cumulative resentment, deep disappointment, anger, overreaction to minor provocation, and cynicism are other suppressed emotions. It's eventually affecting the quality even of their relationship. This is also what Mr. Covey was telling, that look in the root of the problem. Of course, we need to cure if we have some problems, but we don't need only to cure problems with only medication. If something going and going constantly, we need to look, and the person happy? what kind of feelings he has. Do know that every fourth person in the world needs psychological help. Of course, it's very difficult to find good psychologists, but do know we don't need to give up. We don't need to put in our body multiple medicine, because while we will put medicine, the source is on some other place, and it will come constantly. Both win-lose and lose-win are weak positions based on personality, on personal insecurities. Both these positions are weak. Many executives, managers, and parents swing back and forth as on a pendulum. Can you imagine if we are swimming on our pendulum in our private victory from one source to another, one center to another? Then we are swimming on the pendulum of interaction paradigms. It's pretty big swing will be. So this is why Mr. Covey again start from the private victory. This is what I want to say, how it's important. Important private victory first. This is next paradigm of human interaction, lose-lose. And you know, lose-lose, there is no such paradigm exist. However, when two win-lose people get together, both stubborn and ego-invested individuals, the result will be lose-lose. Both will lose. Mr. Covey described a situation when the husband was directed by the judge to sell the assets and turn over half the process to his ex-wife. So what he did, he sold a car worth over $10,000 for $50 and gave $25 to his ex-wife. Of course, usually, guys, it's happened to highly dependent people and people who so centered on an enemy that they become blind to everything except their desire. Lose-lose is a philosophy of war. Next paradigm, win. Another common alternative is simply to think win. People with the win mentality don't necessarily want someone else to lose. It's just irrelevant to them. What matters is that they get what they want. It's a mentality of securing his own ends and leaving to the others to secure theirs. So far, this is 5 philosophies: win-win, win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, and win. Which do you think is the most effective?
Win-win. Are you laughing at me?
It's so obvious. It's so obvious. I was looking at your faces. What would you answer? Thank you, Sean.
I thought it was a trick question. That's why I didn't answer.
It was almost like an uncomfortable silence. I'm sorry. I felt necessary and compelled to interject.
However, guys, well, Sean, thank you. Magnificent answer. No, it's actually depends. What we need to judge the situation ourselves. While Sean, you are basically, I can say 80% from Mr. Covey perspective, you are right. However, we cannot use all the time only win-win technique. It's impossible. For example, in a valuable relationship, Mr. Covey is saying, you even can go for lose-win situation. Why? It's like, it's like you're saying to the other person, see, what is we are doing is not that important to me as our relationship. What a beautiful thing. And sometimes you have to win when your close one in danger. So the best choice then depends on reality, and we need to judge our reality accurately. But we already prepared for that, because we won't say when something happened, we won't say this is your fault, or this is fault of the weather, or this is fault of our president or my country. This is not me. No, we know that everything what we are created, it's our things, it's our responsibility, it's our deed, it's what we did. So because I think, and Mr. Covey believed that we can judge our situation accurately. And of course, how I said that Sean is a lot right, because those situations which I described, for example, lose-win situation when you go willingly in your relationship, or the situation just win, it's exclusive situation. And the majority, yes, Sean, you're right, it's should be win-win situation. Most situation are part of an interdependent reality with win-win situation. Win-lose is not viable, because even if I won, your attitude toward me and our relationship has been affected. I worked with a client once, so it's Stephen Covey saying, so he was working with a client once, the president of a large chain of retail store, and he said, Stephen, your win-win idea sounds just wonderful, but it's so idealistic. It's really not real. The tough, realistic business world isn't that like that. Does anybody agree with this opinion? And Richard, you wanted to say something, please?
Yeah, the win-lose situation, which in many cases has to deal with sports. It's probably the one thing where you will see win-lose all the time. But in a win-lose situation where you end up being the loser, not necessarily the loser, possibly the losing can be a motivating factor that helps you then come back as a winner. So in many cases, even in business, when you lose, it could be a motivation that can help you improve yourself.
Okay, I see your point, and a little bit further, Mr. Covey will explain it better than me. So let's keep it in mind, and if you weren't satisfied, we will come back again to your question, okay, on your statement. Thank you, Richard. Patrick, please.
In terms of the win-lose, right? And also what you said about like, it all depends on the situation. And I never thought about it until you mentioned it. And what Sean said, like, hey, the obvious is win-win. A lot of time, and I'm using chess as an example. Sometimes you got to give up something to earn something more important. You might lose something, right, that is insignificant to you as a loss, but in return, in subsequent steps, right, you gain something more valuable. It might be you lose something, you give up something so that you're earning trust. It goes back to that whole emotional bank account thing. Like a parent, right? Like, I'm a parent. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you this, right? You enjoy it, but I will expect you to basically take out the garbage, at 6 p.m., right? Which is more important to me than whatever that, Fortnite or whatever, right? So, what I mean? So I think it has to be a sequence of events that, that lead to what you said, like it all depends on the situation, how you want to get to the win-win eventually.
A beautiful example, and you remind me, Mr. Covey example, you offered from relationship, and he did the same in business when he gave up $80,000 and all rights was on his side, but the company who he sold, his company sold software, they just didn't like it, and he gave him money, even all rights was on his side, because he said, I respect your opinion, and in a half of year they come back and they make an agreement on $240,000. So this is a beautiful example, Patrick. Thank you. Brian, please.
Patrick made me think of the old saying about losing the battle but winning the war, or I guess the other way is
Yes,
winning the battle
yes.
and losing the war, I guess.
Yes,
kind of along
absolutely
those
beautiful.
lines.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Okay, let's continue. So you remember that Mr. Covey, one president of a company, large chain of food, he tell him that the win-win is not realistic, sounds good, but the business world is not like that. And Mr. Covey said, okay, all right, then try going for win-lose with your customers. Is it realistic? President thought probably no, because I will lose the customers. If I will win, I will lose the customers. Then Mr. Covey said, okay, then go for lose-win with your customers and give your store away. So, and after various alternatives, win-win appeared to be the only truly realistic approach. However, to stay in the position of win-win, we need to have courage. Why do we need to have courage? Let's Mr. Covey to answer. I'm just asking, you keep in mind, and we will figure out why we have courage. Richard, please.
Would it be the win-win possibly comes from compromise, which means you have to give something up.
A lot. Good thought. And let's continue. And Mr. Covey will say that. I just found that it's important in order to point attention. So, and the last paradigm is win-win or no deal. If individuals had not come with a synergetic solution, one that was agreeable to both, they could have gone for another expression of win-win, win-win or no deal. No deal basically means that if we can find a solution that would benefit both us, we agree to disagree agreeably. No deal, no expectation have been created, no performance. What is your opinion about it? Brian?
Oh, I was going to say that you know, part of the courage equation there is that you have to be courageous in the you know, committing to certain values and stuff, you know, to that you don't, you know, have certain principles that you determine to be worthwhile and that you won't, you know, sell low on or whatever. And that's part of the courageousness of it.
Yes, very deep, Aiden. Thank you so much. So we will continue with no deal. We are talking about win-win or no deal. With no deal, one moment, Jan. With no deal as an option, you can feel liberated. However, Mr. Covey doesn't think that you would feel good if you got your way and give up. However, it's still better to hammer a win-win approach. Jan, can you say what you wanted?
Yes, I wanted to say something about which strategies we are going to apply. I mean, the win-win, win-lose, and okay. I think this if there's a mutual benefit, we use a win-win strategy. And if there's no relationship between two parts, for example, there's one team, or there's two teams and two companies that completely separated, and they don't have any interdependence or any relationship, and then we can play win-loss.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jan, I'm so sorry, don't know, something was with your microphone. It was a little bit echo, and
All
I'm
right.
not sure that I understood.
Okay.
Sorry.
So is it better now? And now it's
Yes.
okay? Is it better
Yes.
now? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. What I'm saying is that which strategy we're going to apply depends on whether this is an interdependent relationship or not. For example, if we want win-win, there must be this mutual benefit, mutual interest. So we use a win-win strategy. And if there's no relationship between two parts, and we use a win-loss sometimes. For example, two companies, they compete in a single market, and they don't have any relationship. They don't have the same shareholders. They don't have they're not a supplier and buyer relationship, and we completely separated, and they compete in the same market. So that is a place we use a win-lose to get market share.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. Okay, and I sorry, I have to leave. I have to take off, and so see you guys next week.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Okay, bye.
Okay. Okay, Jan. Okay.
See you next
Please
week.
finish to listen us. Thank you for your comment. Patrick, please.
Yeah, I was when you were talking about the win-win no deal, right? I think the for you, and it ties to courage, right? For you to basically say no deal or win-win, you basically have to truly root it into your principle, right? To really want a win-win, right?
Right.
And forget about, I know we went down the path of business, right? But let's talk just real, right? Everyday life, right? Person, right? You met someone new, or maybe you're single, or maybe even a new friend, right? You find that person really have different value system, or really, unethical, right? He say, oh yeah, I just murdered somebody yesterday. I felt great, right? So there's like, oh yeah, I want to, let's have lunch tomorrow, right? The odds are like, yeah, that's not gonna happen, right? So obviously I'm exaggerating example, but the whole
Right.
point is that you have to have your value system intact and basically deeply rooted in it to say that, yeah, you know what, it's okay. Or if you're not, you're like, wow, you murdered somebody? That sounds exciting. I want to know how you do it. You know what I mean? So so that's what I'm thinking from a relationship perspective, obviously.
Yes, you're right. Again, what I want to add from Mr. Covey prospection, and I completely agree with it, it's not all the time. So it's also almost exclusive situation when we are going for no deal, because how he said, it's you feel liberated, but you won't be really happy if you went far away, right? And you say, okay, no deal, let's go apart. It's not fun. So, and because this situation for no deal, most realistic in the beginning of business relationship. So, or a situation when you cannot reach a true win-win. So you're trying, and you cannot reach them. Then you can go for no deal. What win-win or no deal provides emotional freedom also for family relationship. If family members cannot agree on a video that everyone will enjoy, what would be better? they can simply decide to do something else, no deal, rather than having some enjoy the evening at the expense of others. This is exactly one more solution, right? Do you remember we were talking already about our family, which three of them wanted to go to a different places. I remember Noel, Richard said very good solutions, and this is another solution, like a third solution. Yes, Richard, please say.
I was wondering and thinking just now about the difference between lose-lose and no deal. And so one thing that came to me is attitude. So in lose-lose, you can take the position that since you lose here and you agree to lose, that both sides now separate and are done. I believe that possibly with you if you say no deal, it doesn't now mean that you can't continue at some later time to discuss the issue again. So I believe it's a matter of attitude from my point of view.
I see your point. I see Mr. Covey, for some case, one moment, Monica, I see Mr. Covey put no deal next to win-win, and he considered it as a pretty high solution. Even it's, you see on the bottom, it's still considered very high. So because he was saying that some people are going on and off for years, making one compromise after another. So, and when two people win-lose are meeting, they are usually ended up right away, and there is no agreement, no deal. They are just going apart from each other. It's like practically not a war, but it's a complete disagreement and disappointing of each other. No deal, it's yes, people say yes, great, we want to do it, for example, as a family. Okay, they didn't quarrel and went apart, right? They decided to go for some other movie or go for some other activity. So it's still no deal, it's a win-win situation, but slightly on a lower level. Monique, please.
Hi, Lena. I think that Dr. Covey must have been like this ultimate optimist. When I look at win-win and no deal, I do see them as the same, because with win-win, they both walk away with, they gain something. And with no deal, how many times they try to come to some sort of agreement and it just doesn't fit, they both parties walked away with nothing, right? So even with the lose-win, I don't see it that way, because sometimes, as Patrick said, there's steps in life that you may not see something today, like, why didn't this happen the way I wanted it to go for me? And then you realize months later, this is why it happened, because there was a better opportunity around the corner that I didn't know about, right? And with that said, I would definitely need a copy of Richard's mission statement on my wall, because it's a lot of food for thought, and a lot of things that he had shared resonated with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Very nice feminine approach, kind comment. Please, girls, participate. How I complaining already? This is only male energy, and we got in troubles. We get some revolution probably here. So we need nice and kind and feminine energy. Thank you, Monica. Very nice. And you noticed, first I will tell you two things. First, you can join our WhatsApp group, and definitely, I'm sure Richard will be happy to do that, but it's his mission statement. You will need to ask him. Then we discussed 5 or 6 other mission statements. They are wonderful, wonderful as Richard's mission statement, and all of them different. And according to your comments, you said that you don't feel good about no deal paradigm, and you're completely, sweetheart, right. And you're right, because no deal is mostly appropriate for business relationship, when emotions do not involved, and therefore no deal in a family relationship, in a relationship, it doesn't work. In a family theme, we need to go for a compromise. It's much softer compromise. And the compromise also considered a slightly low form of win-win. So what this win-win, and if we will count like 1, this will be 1 + 1, 2, right? Win-win is 2. And the compromise is 1 + half, 1.5. Then let's count win-lose. 1 and 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And this like 1.5. So no deal in business and compromise in a family settings. It's what we need to do. Thank you for your note. Beautiful. And just as usual, our trick question: is there any situation in a family settings when we don't really need to go for a compromise, or we need to always go for compromise? I mean, let me set my question correct. For example, yes, we can go for anything for compromise if we don't reach win-win, right? But what, for example, we want to compromise something, can, for example, there is a situation when we don't need to go for compromise. When, for example, I can, or my husband can answer, no, this is not the right situation to go for compromise. Is any situation like this?
Well,
Violeta? Patrick, no problem.
Include the safety.
Well, right. Patrick wanted to say. Deborah?
I was going to say the same thing, and I don't think it's a either or. I think this is very situation dependent. That in some cases it may be in the best long-term benefit to, in the short term, give something up that's not all that important, and likewise, in some situations, the other side might actually decide to give something up. So I don't think this is a hard and fast, it's got to be all win-win or nothing kind of thing. I think in the long term, over a long term in relationship, a business relationship, obviously, I think the win-win is the best, but there may be situations where that's not warranted, and it's okay. What I do like about the win-win or no deal is if it does get to the no deal, both parties walk away still on good terms. Nobody's harmed, nobody's hurt.
Right. You notice right, and I can confirm what you said, that win-win or no deal is preferably in a business settings, and win-win or compromise in a family settings. And my question was, there is a situation when no compromise is acceptable, and Patrick and Violeta said right, that about safety, and also it's about health or good habits. For example, can you imagine I'm lay down in my bed and I'm can sleep till 9, 10. My husband is getting up early at 5 and he's running and getting healthy. And I think, I learned on the meeting that we need to go to compromise, right? So, okay, dear, would you like to sleep with me a couple more hours? No, I don't know. We are family. I learned that we need to go for compromise. No, guys, in this situation, it's better me to raise myself to better value, right? Or for example, if a woman is eating healthy, her husband is eating a junk, okay, I learned that we need to go for compromise. My dear, today we will eat half of junk, half of healthy food. It's a compromise, no. So that man also now, he needs to raise to the level of health, right? So whatever it's related to health or good habits, we need to raise ourselves or just keep silence. No compromise for this. So 5 dimensions of win-win. So we figure out that win-win is the best, and Mr. Covey said that there is 5 dimensions of win-win. So win-win is the habit of interpersonal leadership. It involves the exercise of each of the unique human endeavors. Self-awareness, we talk about it. Imagination, we imagined almost everything in our lives, you remember, right, guys? Consciousness, independent will. It involves mutual learning, mutual influence, mutual benefits. And it takes, how we talk already, great courage as well as consideration to create mutual benefits. And the first dimension is character. Character. And the character is the foundation of win-win. Yesterday on the message board, I wrote that trust is the foundation of communication. It was not exactly correct. I wanted to right away to correct that mistake, but think, okay, if I will write that trust is foundation of relationship, then I need to write what is that, and I think it's too much, and I decided to wait till today. So character, guys, is the foundation of win-win. Again, one more proof why Mr. Covey was working with us on our private victory. Because what character, it's me, and I need to make my character right in order to go into win-win interaction. So then is integrity. Character include integrity. We talk a lot about integrity. Richard said wonderful, wonderful definition of it. So let's discuss what we didn't discuss yet. Maturity. Okay, what is maturity? We talk also about maturity. We talk about human maturity, right? Richard, please.
Is Deborah first?
I don't know. I think she didn't lower the hand. Deborah,
okay.
do you want to say something? Yes, Richard.
Oh,
please.
yeah, actually, it did. Emotional intelligence is what I consider maturity.
Nice, nice. Okay, Richard.
Well, that was the 3 levels of human maturity, right? The dependent,
yes.
independent, and interdependent.
Right. Right, and I'm asking you who can form a definition, because yes, we talk about it. Thank you so much. Very, very great that you remember that we discuss a lot human maturity. It's dependence, first level dependence, then independence, and then interdependence. And right now, guys, we are discussing the highest level interdependence because we went through dependence and independence. So what is the definition? Let me say quickly, want to move ahead. So maturity is the balance between courage and consideration. It's beautiful. It's the ability to express one's own feelings and convictions based with the balanced with the consideration for thoughts and feelings of others. So many people think that if you are nice, you are not tough. But win-win is not like that. Win-win is nice and tough. It's twice as tough as win-lose. To go for win-win, you not only have to be nice, you have to be courageous. You not only have to be empathic, you are also have to be confident. You not only have to be considerate and sensitive, but you also have to be brave. So you need to achieve that balance. Let's think about ourselves. Are we balanced? Or we need to work on something, for example, where you're stronger, when you're lower, and in courage or consideration. Let me tell for myself, for example, I think I'm pretty good with courage, but I need to, and I know already that I need to think a little bit about consideration. I'm a little bit low. It's going from first from my country. We are very straightforward. It's going from my character. I had a business. I was always had some positions even from my childhood in school. My parents raised me there. It's all influenced me, and I'm still working on being more. I'm not rude, but I'm straightful, and of course, my straightfulness can hurt people, so I'm working on it. So, what does it mean? It means I need to work on my maturity, and I'm willing to do that. Nothing wrong with that. We talk about fear. Guys, I said, what is wrong with me? I don't expect that you will die right now with laughing. Like tears will go from your eyes and you will laugh. No, for some cases you don't laugh. So why we are afraid of to look not that smart? Don't be afraid. Say, release that demons from you. How we talked last time when they are afraid of that. Now I get light to that. I get the knowledge, and I allowed God to come to me and help me with be better. Yes, Patrick, please.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what what you talked about, maturity is courage, the balance between courage and consideration. Personally, I kind of break that up. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, right? Yeah. So I basically look at my personal strength is within my circle influence, right? And the balance in terms of those things is really being aware of at least for me, understanding your strengths and weaknesses and be able to match them to the opportunities, right? And in terms of the consideration is like, well, if that opportunity is matching with your weakness, that's something that you kind of have to be humble and say, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna walk past that one. So basically having that maturity to say, this is not for me, I have to bow out. And I think it's hard. When I was younger, it was hard. It's like I would charge into everything, right? And I think, at 50, I can't do that anymore. So.
Yes, beautiful, Edging, a little bit different angle, but absolutely beautiful. So we are getting richer here, not from the same opinion of what is Mr. Covey is saying. We are adding to wisdom of what she's saying. So thank you. Thank you, Patrick. And the last thing in what is formed the character in 5 dimensions of win-win, it's abundance mentality. What is that? It's the paradigm that there is plenty out there for everybody. Most people are deeply scripted in what Mr. Covey is calling the scarcity mentality. They see life as there are only one pie, and if somebody biting a piece, it will become less and less and less. No, it's the pie will constantly appear new pie. There's no such a thing. People with a scarcity mentality have a very difficult time sharing recognitions and credits, power, or profits, even with those who help them in production. They also have a very hard time being genuinely happy for the success of other people, even and sometimes especially members of their family, their friends and associates. They might verbally express happiness for others' success. Inwardly, they are eating their heads out. They think that only one person can be number one. To win simply means to beat. And they surround themselves with yes people, people who won't challenge them, people who are weaker than they are. Guys, it's plenty out there and enough space for success and achievements for everybody. The abundance mentality takes the personal joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment at habits number 1, 2, and 3 and turns it outward, appreciating the uniqueness, the inner direction, the proactive nature of others. It recognizes the unlimited possibilities for positive interactive growth and development, creating new third alternative. Public victory does not mean victory over other people. This is very important, guys. Public victory does not mean victory over other people. It means success and effective interaction that brings mutually beneficial results to everyone involved. Public victory means working together, communicating together, making things happen together, that even the same people couldn't make happen by working independently. And this suggestion of Mr. Covey, he found that it's very helpful for people win-lose mentality in order to develop win-win character, to work, for example, with some models or mentors, how Noel was suggesting us, who really think win-win, mentors or role models. Also, he recommends to reading literature, especially inspiring biographies. Do you remember we were talking that the extremely influential and extremely fancy, not fancy, famous people, they are all reading inspired biographies. And also he suggests to watch movies. This is 2 of his movies he suggested to watch. This I accidentally found while I was searching for these movies, and the name is pretty great, right? Win-win. I'm sure this movie based, sorry I didn't watch it, but I'm sure this movie is based on win-win philosophy, and actually the very good reviews of this movie, and it took multiple awards. So maybe it's worth to see it, right? Let's look just one more. Or we have probably 15-20 minutes, and I wouldn't rush it. Right now it's 5:30. We usually keep our meetings 1 hour and a half. So my offer today would be to stop on 5 dimensions of win-win, and we will continue next time. It would be just 15-20 minutes. However, I would give you a homework. Let me see. And then, guys, I will post it on our message board, our homework. So now I need to do this. Now I need to do, stop. This, just 1 moment. Yes, I want to go and give you homework. See, this is already not much. what the practical homework. I will post it on our message board. Try to think about an upcoming interaction with someone where you need to reach an agreement or negotiate a solution. What do you feel? Which attitude you have? I would like to share with you. I had a situation where I participated in some message board, and it was one conversation, and I found that for some case, maybe organizer, she didn't feel well, or she was very aggressive. And while I tried to do not participate, I finally stopped. But even my stopping was kind of create aggression from her side. But I like that group. And actually, I like that girl too. Something just really, I think, happened to in her personal life. And I want to approach her. I want to talk and make a synergy with her, make a win-win situation. And what this is saying, think about what you feel. So what do you feel? I feel horrible. I don't want to do that. I'm serious. I want to send her as far as possible, and that's it. But is it good if I will leave that meeting, which I know already many people, I'm already more than a year there, would it be a right solution? Will it be a win-win situation? No, so I don't feel well. What attitude I have? I told already what kind of attitude I have. I don't want to talk. She crossed over maybe 3 or 4, 5 times the line which I wouldn't allow. It wasn't rude. It was like very pushy attitude to accept what she wants. It doesn't work with me. So next thing, and what I'm talking, that maybe you have some upcoming interaction, just think about it. Make a list of obstacles and keep you from applying the win-win paradigm. Yes, so it's not that okay, I decided I will talk to her and I'm going. No, it's not enough. Mr. Covey, with all his experience and knowledge, he was preparing for his meetings with some kind of situation like that. He was preparing his step. So first, I need to write what I don't like in that situation. Then number 3, put yourself in other person's place. I did that already. I know she's a good girl, and I interact with her more than a year, never happened before. So it means maybe something was very, very, very personal, why she was reacting that. So do you think if I would, do we really think when we are frustrated or when we are offended, do we really think about somebody else? No, we think only about us, right? We think how great we are and how bad that person. So now we need to put ourselves in some other person's place. Then it's not yet. Try to identify a win-win model and really seek mutual benefit. So what it means, what I really want from that. Because I can come and blow into her what I was offended at. Would it help? No. Deeply consider your own scripting. Is it win-lose? How does that scripting affect your interaction with other people? Can you identify the main source of that script? Determine whether or not those scripts serve well in your current situation. Try to identify a model of win-win thinking, who, even in hard situation, really seeks mutual benefit. So what does it mean? I need to now see all my steps. I need to prepare what I will say. I need to think what she might say. And if, for example, if she will tell me something, will I accept it? Or if, for example, she will go back and she will start continue on me what I will say in that moment. I need to think, will I agree for win-lose situation? Will I agree for lose-win situation? What is my outcome? What I really want, or what I really want from that? So let's see. Next time I will tell you the results of my practical homework. And plus, I hope that you will find it's useful for you as well. And, so what I want to, first I want to say you thank you so much. I tremendously enjoyed our conversation, and I do look forward for our next meeting. Next meeting, we will finish 15 minutes, I think 15, 20 minutes, not more, even not 20, 15 minutes, we will finish this habit, think, win-win, and we will discuss what we learned, we will discuss what we try, how we apply win-win situations in our lives and in our work settings. Is anybody wants to say something? What you are taking with you? So this is not about me, this is about you, what you are taking with you going from this meeting today. Richard, please.
Perhaps we didn't finish talking about it, but I definitely enjoyed the part about the beginning part about the having an abundance mentality.
Nice.
It keeps us from being upset about losing if we lose. And brings us to have hope for future negotiations.
Beautiful, Eddie. Thank you. Patrick, please.
Yeah, I like it's a good, there's a good refresh for me in terms of those different interactions, even though for me in my head, I was like, okay, yeah, it's always, a win-win situation is the best outcome. But, reality is sometimes it's not the best outcome, because, a win for me in my head might be a win for them, what we're trying to do, but it might not be. So I think that's where all the other habits, previous habits is required, especially the listening, the observation and things like that, to get to like the root of what truly is winning for them. So this is a great, refresh for definitely. And just the one thing I do want to ask you, Lena, you mentioned like, oh, depression is the lowest point of someone's emotional state. What would be the highest? Would it be joy or happiness or just a belly full of pizza?
Yes, of course, our ultimate goal is happiness. Everything what we are doing, is happiness. Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Beautiful comment. Violeta, please.
I agree with Patrick. It was a great refreshment of the situations where it's really nice to be considered by other people and apply the right techniques.
Yes, thank you, Violeta. Richard?
Oh, just to circle back with Patrick on his initial question about irrational emotions. I thought about it a little bit more while we were discussing the rest of the topics. And the thing that came to mind was the conversation about something that it was the talk about the gap between reaction and stimulant. And so that gap, depending on how you use it, can definitely affect your emotions. Right. That's the way I look at it.
Yes, yes. Violeta, how's your bracelet? When we are talking about gap, we right away remember about your bracelet. Thank you. It's a small technique, Veta. tell quickly to our new people who are with us today.
When I have a question or something, a question which is emotional to me, to have that gap between the answer and the emotions, I have this bracelet. I put it to my other hand. Those 2-3 seconds allow me to process my emotions and process the question and answer not reactively.
Beautiful, beautiful. We absolutely love it. One more thing, Patrick. I prepared what I promised for you. This is completely unrelated to 7 habits. Let me say you thank you. I will stop recording and I can explain what I want. So thank you so much, and see you all next week on Sunday at 4 p.m. Thank you.